If you're a Digimon fan, you've been living in absolute bliss these last couple of weeks. Today, we're diving into one of the most well received monster taming JRPGs of, to my knowledge, recent years Digimon Story Time Stranger. With the latest entry in the Digimon Story series from Bandai Namco, there's plenty to talk about. From what I loved, what grinded my gears, and what this game might mean for the franchise going forward. I just recently completed 100% of Digimon Story Time Stranger, and this game absolutely blew me away. From narrative settings, combat mechanics, the collection system, presentation visuals, the quality of life, the general overall feeling of the game was absolutely wonderful. This game had a spell on me from start to finish. After completing 100%, this is my review, the spoiler free version. If that's all you're here for, this is what you want to listen to. If you are a fan of the Digimon series or just monster taming games in general, you need this game. It was an absolute blast. It's 70 bucks, not the greatest price point. We hate games going up, but I spent easily 100 hours these last couple weeks in this game, and I'm planning on spending 100 more on some Nuzlocke versions that I plan to try and play. We'll see how well they go. But my goodness, this game took me from nowhere. I was not expecting a Digimon game. I haven't played a Digimon game since Digimon Rumble Arena 2 on the PS2. This was not something I was clocked into. But with all the good reviews, I had to buy it. I had to give it a try. And let's just start with the narrative and settings. The setting starts you out as a secret agent investigating Digimon in Tokyo. There's an anime apparently that's put out there that actually gets tied into the story later, but it's got your clothes on. You're like, what the heck? I'm gonna have to change outfits. You're getting called. Immediately you get put into the action. There's not a lot of dilly dallying. You walk through, you find some Digimon, you start playing, you learn about the game. It is amazing. The game relies on the story, hint, hint, Digimon Story Time Stranger, to kind of push the narrative and push you along with very few side quests, which I actually found to be very enjoyable, and sometimes that's how I really like my single player games if it's done right. What surprised me the most, however, was how it handled death in the story. It really dove deep into it, and there's some characters that die off screen that play a big part, some Digimon that de-digivolve or maybe die. I'm not familiar with the lore as of right now, but man, maybe Digimon has gotten dark over the days. But I really loved this exploring of this concept in what I thought was going to be a lighthearted, silly, not a good story version of the game. I thought it was just going to be Digimon battling, and I enjoy the combat mechanics, but man, I really enjoyed this story. Not only that, the time travel version was actually really good. I usually hate time travel in games. I usually think the plots can be a little bad. Um, I mean, I haven't played them all, but there's really only two that come to mind that I like, and that is one, Dark Cloud 2. I think I love. I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia. I'm looking at it. I love Dark Cloud's 2 handle of time travel, and I really loved how this game handles time travel, man. It tricks you into thinking it's one way and it's another. And I don't want to spoil the story for you. That's as far as I'm gonna go into it. But it was a lot of fun for me to kind of discover this stuff and to rediscover the Digimon that go along with it. Man, I don't remember all these Digimon in the game. There are 450 Digimon that you can get or fight in this game. It is absolutely incredible. With 999 Digimon slots, you can have every single Digimon in the game if you wanted. From in Training 1, the starters you couldn't get in the beginning, all the way to the highest level Mega, Mega Plus. And they're so fun to find. They're Digi Evolutions, they're all shadowed out, there's multiple paths. You pick one, it turns out to be so sick looking. You're like, dang, I'm going to use this on my team. And none of your Digimon are useless because you have passive experience gained for reserve Digimon. So anyone in your box or on the Digifarm, which I'll talk about in a minute, they all level up at the same time. Now this might be a problem for some challenge runs like Nuzlocke. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it. But it is so fun for a casual play through the game. Or playing the game on hard mode so that you can match any Digimon you've gotten to the next boss if you already know what's going on. And this allows you to be really creative and really flexible with your teams. Now, there's some benefits like bond and talent points that boost your Digimon's level and they add stats, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But mostly overall, as long as you're rotating your Digimon out to some of the cooler ones you like of each type, then you'll have a solid box of Digimon that you could really use for any situation. The way you collect the Digimon in this game is also super unique. You get scan rate. You essentially just beat the bricks off them, and once you get 100%, you can convert them. Or you keep beating the bricks off them, and you get 200% scan rate, and they have better stats. I think this is a very unique way to handle this, and I loved it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want Digimon games to have this for a while. I don't think they need to make anything new on this front or change anything up. I think this game rate is actually so fun. It keeps the pace of the game high. The focus is on the battling and the story and the game mechanics, and farming and customizing your Digimon with the new abilities. So I think that's something they need to stay on. On the note of customization as well, each Digimon gets a small amount of unique skills, usually 1 through 3. I don't think I've seen one higher with 3 off the top of my head. There might be 1 or 2 with 4 at the Mega Plus level. I would have to go back and look. But each unique skill comes with a unique animation, which looks so cool. Each Digimon has a unique celebration animation, which is so dope. And then there's a bunch of general skills you can customize. You have 4 slot for your general skills. You can make Digimon healers, buffers, debuffers, or you can just give a wide range of elemental attacks, further opening up your team combinations. So I think strategy around this game is super fun. I think the team building around this game, the customization around your Digimon, although limited, right? You're just picking 4 moves and you're putting on a couple stat items. That's all the customization you really get, and Digi-Evolutions. But honestly, that's all I needed. I didn't feel lacking for anything, and I thoroughly have played this game through Mega Plus, and I'm looking to play through again on that Nuzlocke, making it a little harder with unique skills and skills they learn. But like I said, I think that's all you need. And I think you should look forward to using those maybe unique skills or not putting on general skills and using the skills only they learn. I mean, there's a million ways you can do this game to make it interesting, and I think the customization was great. It was enough. It was enough to make the game super fun. There wasn't too much to make it overwhelming, and it maybe even was on the side of more simple, but I loved it. It was simple enough that I loved it. Along with the customization, you get unique skills that you can obtain through personalities, and there's different ways to change these personalities, like sending them to the Digi Farm, where you train them up using items and time to change their personality and give them a boost to a certain stat. Now, the personality was needed to help Digivolve them. I didn't really like how slow it was to change the personalities. I think that it could have been a little faster when you're talking to your Digimon. The Digifarm was wonderful for it, but if you didn't want to use those stat boosts along with changing the personality, you had to really grind. And I know it's a JRPG, so the grind is there. And JRPGs always have a bit of a grind, and there is a bit of an XP grind for this game, but the personality grind, I didn't I didn't want to have to deal with the personality grind. So although I did not mind the personality and the unique skills and how that can go into your build, I actually kind of really liked how that integrated into your build. I don't really want to spend so much time trying to roll the right personality change talking to my Digimon, nor do I want to be forced to upgrade their stats. Now let's talk about the combat. The combat and the mechanics of the game I really loved. It was, traditional monster tamer, click moves, guard, change out your Digimon. Always fun. What really got me as a kicker was it kind of reminded me of Final Fantasy, and I hadn't played a monster tamer game like this. I hadn't played a specific monster tamer, and I haven't been around to the genre in a minute. But a monster tamer that essentially had mana like it was Final Fantasy, right? These type of tactics uh, class games are usually the games I've played have been around Final Fantasy. So It was actually delightful. I absolutely loved it. You can use items every round, which is also a big buff. So if you ran out of your SP, which was your mana, you could just replenish it. So I never really felt like it was a big obstacle. But from when I stopped using items, you kind of had to really play around your SP a little bit for your low SP mons. Maybe you had items that used more SP to do more damage, so you really kind of had to play around it, which I thought added even another layer of depth to the strategy, and I absolutely loved. I also love the 3v3 nature of this game. It allows you to bring in a lot of flexibility in your Digimon and the roles, and you can really have teams that focus on healers and tanks and damage dealers, or debuffers, healers, and or a combination of any of them. Really, your imagination is the moon here. And I think that added along with the rock paper scissors triangle of data, vaccine, and virus wasn't hard to understand. There were some Digimon outside of this triangle that were essentially just neutral, and then you also had elemental layer. So data did damage to vaccine, vaccine did damage to virus, virus did damage to data, and then each specific Digimon had elemental weaknesses or resistances. So they might be resistant to dark, but be weak to light. And again, just added strategy of what moves you wanted to take, what Digimon you wanted to bring. I think it was simple. The tutorial for this combat system was really nice, easy to read, and it was a lot of fun. Simple and fun is how you get new people in the game, and I think they really achieved that here. One of the cons about the combat system that I was reading online was the massive health pools and how long the fights were lasting sometimes. Now, you have an auto battle feature, and you can speed up the game to times 5. So the grind is actually not that bad. You just walk around, you get in the Digimon fights, and the game grinds for you. And if you were complaining about the boss health bars, well, I gotta say, it made the boss fights epic for me, man. I loved using all that strategy I learned round and round. And if you learned how the game mechanics worked, it really wasn't that bad. You could hit 6K early on a boss when you're with your champion level Digimon, as long as you revolved around the right status effects, the right data, vaccine, or virus monsters, the right elemental resistances, and if you stack that with buffs like defense down if you're attacker, or spirit down if you have resist or intellect attackers, then I mean, there's really no obstacle for you to take down these big boss quickly. So if you spend time to really learn these mechanics, the game really doesn't last super long, and it really simplifies itself. You just kind of have to add these mechanics together, use them in synergy, and not just one at a time. And this brings me to the visuals of the game. Like I said, a lot of the attacks are unique, and they're super well animated, man. This game looks absolutely beautiful. The settings are beautiful. When you're in Tokyo, I've never been to Tokyo myself, but I've watched some other people play, and it's pretty accurate to the Tokyo spots that you go to. I think each Digi section of the world is very unique and purposeful, and the Digimon that go along with it are really nice to see, and those visuals of the Digimon moving around and riding the Digimon can be pretty cool. Sometimes it looks a little weird, but overall, I think all the visuals are really well done, and the attacks are just so cool. I'm gonna glaze the attacks all day, but they are one of the coolest things I like about this game. How the Digimon look and the new Digi evolutions and the attack animations, man, absolutely beautiful to me. I think not going with the traditional kind of almost 2D old school monster tamer look, I think really helped him here. And I can't wait to see more games like this from Digimon. I think this game definitely brought in new fans. I'm a new fan, I would say. I haven't played a Digimon game in 2 decades. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna go check out Digimon Next Order. Is one of the next ones on my list, and Digimon Survive. They seem to be each a unique entry in the Digimon franchise of gaming. I can't wait for another story game to come out. I'm looking forward for the next story game, and I'm hearing and I'm reading and I'm looking back, and the last story game came out in 2015, a decade ago. I don't think I could stand that. I don't think I could stand waiting a decade for the next Digimon story game. So I'm really hoping that Digimon Next Order and Digimon Survive are just as well as this. I know Digimon Survive doesn't have the same graphics as this, and I don't mind that. I love Fire Emblem, and that's kind of what it looks like, kind of a traditional tactics game. and I'm excited to check those two out. I think Bandai Namco's got to get on the gas though. I think they got to put their foot down, start working on the next game because just how well this game is received, I know a lot of people are going to check out some other Digimon titles. They have they have the ability to capitalize here, and I think they should. And I think you should capitalize too by hitting subscribe, hitting a like, leaving a comment for me so that I can make more videos because I want to stay on top of this and I got lots of games that I want to review. And although I've made this channel primarily for nostalgic games, Digimon kind of hit that nostalgic button, and I'm actually good. I think I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go through a lot of Digimon games. I think I'm gonna stay on top of some newer games that I'm interested in. I did post one 4X game that I loved, and dude, I just love games, and I hope you do too. And if you do, help a brother out. I'd appreciate it. See ya.